In this video, we look at the thought process behind PvP bounty hunting in a Cutlass Blue. When the Cutlass Blue from Drake was finally released to the public, it raised some eyebrows. And largely, not in a good way. There were cries that the enforcement variant of the Cutlass was a bit of a non-entity. Where was the increased firepower and extra shielding? And there's no denying it, there's a bit of a gap between the marketing rhetoric and the ship that was finally delivered. Although there are reasons why, over time, these promises made less and less sense. For instance, shield sizes have gone through a complete rework since the concept was announced. This video isn't about addressing those arguments. Besides, I'm the wrong person to make that judgment, because I'm biased towards Drake. You see, poring over a concept brochure and playing spot the difference isn't really my idea of proving anything. More simply put, I like to take these things and I like to try them out for myself. This video then takes a look at bounty hunting through the canopy of the Cutlass Blue. It illustrates hunting 2-player marks, how I anticipate actions in an attempt to stay ahead of the game, and what things I'm thinking when we head into combat using the Cutlass Blue to achieve the goal of erasing the target. I locate my first bounty at Microtech, and after travelling halfway there I noticed he was heading back to Hurston, so I doubled back and waited at the jump in point. Unless you've actually departed from the exact same origin as your bounty, it's unlikely that they'll drop into your lap when they enter the system. And that's what happens here. And I know the bounty will jump before I can cover 100 kilometers. The question is, where's he going to jump to next? Is the bounty looking to clear his crime stat, or seeking out new targets of opportunity? Hurston isn't the place to go looking for trouble, so it's no surprise to me that the felon quantums to a security outpost. So his goal is now clear. He's looking to clear his crime stat, and that suits me just fine. He's used a spline jump to the base, so he's going to be deep into the atmosphere, making it much harder for him to run. He'll be heading to the base, so should be descending, and he's going to have to make quick decisions about whether to run or fight when I engage. Drop in close to the target, and my first goal here is to cause panic whilst I close the gap and get on top of him. The best choice the target can make right now is to turn and fight immediately, not to attempt to run. He's definitely not going to outrun me here. Unfortunately for him, he seems to hesitate, which gives me all the time I need to soften him up. When he realises that he has to face me to get out of there alive, I've already got a reasonable advantage. He does the right thing here, boosting past and doing a decoupled turn to try and get positional advantage. I fight this to maintain my own positional dominance, not wanting to make it easy for him to score hits, strafing past long enough to lock additional missiles and then holding him in place by submitting to the DPS fight. And it's clasher for him and money in the bank for me. But make no mistake here, the Freelancer with 2 medium shields and 4 gimbaled size 3 weapons can cause all kinds of trouble if it's given the space to line up shots. I still took half a grand's worth of damage for my trouble. The victory here was one of tools, circumstance and timing, rather than any piloting skill by me. Now let's look at mark number 2, spawned and stationary at CRU-L1. I know that an R&R station is an unlikely location for me to capture a target. They've simply jumped from the no-fire zone. So why am I heading in? Well, My aim is simply to have a quick look at whatever's sitting on the pads there, and then to get out. It seems I'm not the only one here, and Aegis Sabre also skips towards the R&R. With us both buzzing the station, there's every chance the bounty will simply region log and move to another server. I decide to make it a very quick recon, and that looks like our Sabre friend hanging around like a bad smell. If I jump from here back to Alwasar and the bounty takes the same route, there's every chance that we'll arrive within striking distance at the jump-in point, and with a successful attack, I could clear the bounty before the Sabre even makes it back to Crusader. I jump, and I wait. Right on cue, the felon leaves the R&R, giving anyone there the slip, and heading straight back to Crusader. The fight is now almost certain. Instinct tells me to move towards him, and I overshoot, after hardly making a dent, giving him time to get space and to train his guns on me. So I'm pushing past to keep off his nose as best I can, but at some point I'm going to need to stay pinned to the target to keep my guns trained, so I'm using lateral thrust and vertical strafe to try and avoid those deadly size 3s. But although I've already taken damage, I can see that he is in a much worse state. The decision here to anticipate and preempt the target's destination was the right one. Even with my cack-handed flying, I managed to get the initiative and keep the target engaged long enough so they couldn't evade my missiles. Some ships are rightly much harder to fight than this though, resulting in epic standoffs. Perhaps that's for a different video. But the Cutlass Blue can be an effective bounty hunting ship in the current iteration of the game. Don't underestimate the value of a good size 2 quantum drive to get you from A to B faster than your opponents and your competition, and the Blue has the fuel tanks to back that up. As for firepower, with fixed weapons in a good state in 3.10, it can hold its head above water, and I suspect if the turret had been manned with 6 size 3s on target, those engagements would have gone a whole lot quicker.